So the Sooners landed a top 10 of a recruit that Brent Venables wants really bad, it seems like. And they just offered a relatively unknown that seems to be rising. Let's talk about these two players. All that coming up here in about, 10 seconds. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, talking OU football, college football, and sports in general. And in this video, we're going to talk about a couple of recruits that one Brent Venables definitely wants, and one that's a rising star coming out of the East that Oklahoma is pursuing, which is pretty good in the secondary. So two defensive players as we continue this storyline of Oklahoma going after specific defensive players to play. We're going to dive right in. But before we jump into this, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this Oklahoma recruiting class. Give me a Y for yes, you're excited, or a no that you're kind of skeptical on who's coming in. I know you're not skeptical because we've talked about this for the last few months. These classes are building specifically for what Venables is trying to do. And so the two players we're going to talk about is Tausili Akana out of Utah, as well as a new guy, Suderian Harrison, out of South Carolina. It looks like he is a rising star that people are going after, and I am pretty excited to, talk about him. So let's dive right into it, shall we? First and foremost, top 10 for Akana. Now, we've talked about this player for a while. He is an edge player. Let's go with the measurables first, and that is he's a 4-star edge, a consensus top 100 player on the board across all of the platforms and the recruiting. So consensus, he's rounded out. He's about 97th in the nation, and he's still moving up. 6'3", about 210. Looks like he's getting bigger. At one point, he was ranked the number one outside linebacker on 24/7's composite, which is dope. That means that he is someone special. And when I looked at him and started looking at some of his older tape or whatnot, he has that motor kind of like Derek LeBlanc and some of the other recruits that are coming on the defensive side for Oklahoma. And so he is definitely something that I feel like Venables and his team really wants. And the reason why I say that is because this is the player that Brent Venables is the primary, and it's like the only player that he's the primary recruiting for. And so that was fascinating. It seems that he's built a relationship with Akana from back at the Clemson days, and he's starting to find a way to bring in those players here into Oklahoma, which you all should be excited about. And so he came out to the Kansas game, and he just recently announced his top 10 teams, and these are the top 10 teams that on his list with a commitment date coming soon. He's got Penn State, Texas, Hawaii, Notre Dame, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Utah, Oklahoma, and LSU. That is the top 10, as you can see from the graphic here. And he came out to the Kansas game and watched Oklahoma win that one at home. And this was some of the takeaways he had in an interview. Well, no. I definitely say the environment and defensive scheme stood out to me most about the official. Akana told 24/7 Sports. This was an official visit. This visit definitely puts Oklahoma at the top. So it looks like Oklahoma, in his eyes, is number one, even though there's a crystal ball I've seen on 24/7 for Oklahoma, and I've seen on other sites they're kind of unknown right now. People out there are amazing, were also amazing. The fans were going crazy. They stayed the whole game, and it was great to see the atmosphere, even outside the stadium, just partying. He continues. This is Akana continuing. The defense is a little different than some other places I've seen, and the coaches made it clear that it fits every part of my game. I'd be rushing the passer, coming off the edge, setting the edge, and playing in space. Sounds like he's built specifically for this scheme. And so in some of the videos I looked in the highlights, go check out his highlights and just search them. You'll see links in the description below about Akana. He plays well in space, and he's really good coming off the edge. He can put his hand down or he can step back. So it looks like he can play the linebacker. He can come in and play at the edge in that 3-3-5. So it looks like he'll come in as a additional lineman when he gets out there in the field. And so I like that about him, and I like his motor. He has that motor that we've talked about in the past when it comes to play. Don't have any footage on him here, nothing from this year, just a lot of stuff from his freshman year. And honestly, it looked like it was a bunch of kids based upon his size. He was a big dude, and he was out there dominating. So we'll talk about him a little bit more, but I feel like this is another piece that Oklahoma should win and continue to propel this class up into the top 3 by the end of signing day early signing day in December, and hopefully by the end of February, when actual official signing day hits at the beginning of February, by the end, this class is top 3 minimum. So be excited, Sooner fans. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about Akana adding Oklahoma to the top 10 and saying that in his eyes, they're at the top. Think we're going to win them? I think we will. Just saying. Next up, we're going to talk about a relatively unknown. Now, I have footage of this player, Suderian Harrison. Now, when I went and looked him up, no one really has him rated yet. I don't see any stars whatsoever on him. But the cool thing about him is he gets with the measurables. He's 5'10", 11-ish, around there, about 165 pounds. The consensus has really kind of had him about 5'11", 165. We'll stick to that. And he plays multiple sports: football, basketball, baseball. On his Twitter picture, he has a picture of him pitching the ball, and there's videos of him hitting. So he's a multi-sport athlete, and it looks like he may try to come here and potentially play both baseball and football, which I'm totally not against. I like two-sport athletes, especially those that are really, really good. He plays quarterback and safety right now in high school, and it looks like everybody that's recruiting him is recruiting him to play on the defensive side. So he's most likely going to be a safety or defensive back coming here. And he's a pitcher and also a point guard. So, he's everywhere, and he's an athlete, you can tell. He showed some video on his Twitter account that showed him running an unofficial 4.47. And so now we're going to move into some of the footage from him on the defensive side of the ball, because I think that's going to be the focus, because it looks like Brandon Hall is the safeties coach, is the one that is the primary recruiter for Mr. Harrison. So he's just going to add additional piece that we could really use, some more depth in that secondary, and I'm totally excited about that. And so he's picked up offers over the last month from a lot of schools, from Virginia Tech, and Oklahoma, and right now he's crystal balled at Virginia, but I can totally see that changing as Oklahoma just now came in to the picture. There's a chance that Brandon Hall and Venables and that team can pull him over. As you can see here in his picture, saying, AGTG, as all of them say, Venables was part of the offers after a conversation. And so it looks like he is someone that they feel like he would be beneficial. Look at this footage. I mean, just look at the guy play. He looks like he is something that we want. He can find the hole because he plays quarterback as well as playing safety. He knows where to hit the holes at. He knows where to get the tackles, and he's not afraid to tackle at his size. And you want guys that are willing to hit. Now, of course, at that size, you may be a little nervous about injuries, but overall, I think that he can do something. I love recruits, and I love talking about recruits on here with you all, because it's all potential. We don't know what they're going to be, but it's always something hopeful. You've always got hope going forward, especially after kind of a turmoil of a season that we've had, just, up and down. But I do like that we're going after certain players that are kind of flying under the radar, that looks like that we can develop into much better than what they are reported. So hopefully he does turn out to be high, especially, like I said, his recruiting is starting to take off. A lot of schools are taking notice of him. And there's a chance we'll start seeing actual star rating for him in the near future. So with that, these are two recruits that Oklahoma is going after, and I'm pretty amped that we could potentially have them. So I think I'm going to make my recruiting stuff on Tuesdays, make this that afternoon, evening drop for you all. We've got Tausili Akana as well as Suderian Harrison. Tell me what you think. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you think about these two potential recruits coming in. Go search online, look up the footage. I have some links for them also in the description for you all to do some digging as well. And with that, thank you for tuning in here to Unfair Sports. We're growing. We're almost at 2,500 subs. Thank you so much. While you're here, if you're not a current subscriber, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and then share, because sharing is caring. We would love to have you in the family as we grow, do more stuff, hopefully get player interviews and do all kinds of cool stuff in the near future. But small channels got to build from somewhere, and right now we're building with you. So with that, as I wrap up, hit the like, subscribe button, and share, because sharing is caring. And with that, we'll talk about the Iowa State game in about a day or two. Peace.